The cruise ship linked to Hantavirus getting disinfected at a Dutch port as Canada confirms its first case linked to that outbreak. Our own Dr. Siegel got an exclusive look from the State Department of the plane that brought home the American passengers. He also spoke with a physician who was actually on the ship and tested negative after a false positive.
I'd been on this boat for many, many weeks, and it's a small group, and you really start to feel like you're a family, because you're interacting with the same group of people over and over again. When I heard that a lady on board was ill, I just felt the need just to volunteer to the doctor. So very quickly, after I almost innocently just asked if I could be at help, it was clear that there was no medical presence on the boat anymore. And my involvement just kind of escalated from there.
Fox News senior medical analyst Dr. Marc Siegel is the author of The Miracles Among Us, How God's Grace Plays a Role in Healing, and he joins us now. Good morning to you, Dr. Siegel.
Hi, Ainsley. How are you?
Hi. Tell us what's happening in Canada. Canada has reported its first presumptive positive hantavirus case.
Well, I think that case is related directly to the people on the ship. You know, the problem with the ship was they went days, and Dr. Kornfeld just told me this yesterday. They didn't know it was Hanta right away. They didn't know. They knew people were getting sick, but they didn't know till May 2nd, and then they didn't know till May 4th that it was transmitting. So that led to passengers disembarking, and they've been doing a really good job tracking them and tracing them in something called contact tracing, but still the genie, to some extent, was out of the bottle. Luckily, we're seeing very limited spread, and that explains the patient in Canada. The good news is we're not seeing a lot of this, and the more days that tick by, the better off this is. And Ainsley, I was very impressed with Dr. Kornfeld with what you just showed, where he talked about, I had limited resources on that boat. He raised his hand, he said to the ship's doctor, if you ever need anyone, remember on the plane, if you ever need anyone, well, the ship's doctor came down with Hanta, and he was a general practitioner. Kornfeld is an oncologist, so he knows what it's like to look into the eyes of very sick people and to reassure them. And if you can conquer their fears, you decrease the spread. And that was what he did. He's a hero.
You know, doctors are heroes. You take the oath and you always jump in to help. And it's amazing. And Dr. Stephen Kornfeld was just on this cruise. And when the doctor that was assigned to the cruise was sick and came down with Hanta, he stepped up to the plate, which was very, very selfless of him. Here's Dr. Kornfeld telling you what it was like, because he originally had that false positive test and he was experiencing some symptoms. Listen to this.
I had sweats, fatigue, some generalized body ache, a little headache, upper respiratory, very flu, generically using the term flu-like symptoms. There was a lot of debate over whether or not my earlier illness was Hanta. I never felt it was Hanta, and I'm talking early April. I never felt it was Hanta because the timing was off. I don't think I got exposed before I got on the boat. I was never in the right areas. And it was too quick after I got on the boat and exposed to the gentleman who initially had Hanta for me to get Hanta. But there was a lot of thoughts that maybe I had Hanta. When my antibody test came back negative, both IgG and IgM, then nobody felt that my original illness was Hanta, and it was simply the ship flu, as most ships get, and it passed around to a lot of us in early April.
I'm glad it actually wasn't Hanta. Dr. Siegel, what is your advice to people that have cruise booked for the summer?
I think that cruises are safe, and one of the things I want people to know is, look, this was the ship's doctor, and he was walking around handing out, personal protective equipment and reassuring people and interacting daily, making rounds, and he still didn't actually get it. You're not going to get it on a cruise ship. And the other thing I want everyone to know, and Kornfeld said this too, the State Department did a tremendous job, and we showed the photos, getting them out of the Canary Islands, the Americans, and over to Nebraska where they're being quarantined. And he was very impressed with the technology, but when he got to Nebraska, he was very impressed with the medical director's personal touch. And there we go again, Ainsley. The personal touch is what really matters. For people out there, the risk to the general public right now is close to zero. We're monitoring it very carefully. CDC is involved. HHS is involved. The WHO, European health authorities are involved. And Nebraska is doing a tremendous job, as I just saw when I was there.
Okay, Dr. Siegel, thank you so much for coming on with us. Great to see you.
Great to see you.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.